we've got another Big Ten matchup tonight as we'll see Ohio State head to Penn State at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time for the big whiteout game. All right, this is the one everybody loves. This is the game everybody gets on their feet for. Penn State stands up, the building rocks, it goes crazy. We'll see Penn State with a 13-8 record, and 3-7 in the conference, currently sitting at 14th place in the Big Ten. Ohio State is 12-8, 4-5 in the Big Ten, sitting at 10th place at the moment. We've seen Penn State take some tough losses. The last 5 have not been nice to them. They lost to Michigan, they lost to Iowa, they came up with the dub against Rutgers, and they lost to Michigan State and lost to Oregon. The Michigan game was decently close. They lost by 4 in that one, 76-72. They lost by 1 to Iowa, 76-75. Controlled the game against Rutgers, who is up and down team this year. It kind of sort of just depends on if Ace Bailey, if Ace Bailey is going, or if not. Honestly, he usually is scoring, but hey, that's one man, and it's tough to win games with one person. They lost by 5 to Michigan State. They gave up 90 points. They scored 85. And then they lost by 1 to Oregon. So they've taken some really tough losses, some close losses. Penn State is not a terrible team. Even prior to the Oregon loss, they lost to Illinois by a lot, 91-52. And they lost by 6 to Indiana, who is not a very good team. They have their fans screaming to fire their coach right now. So Penn State has been down tremendously in the last few games, really since conference play has got going. They were able to secure the dub against Northwestern earlier in the year, but they have really struggled in conference play, and they have a pretty decent Ohio State team in this one that I've been watching all year because I've watched them take some really close losses, some heartbreaking losses. It has been so unfortunate what Ohio State has had to deal with. They've put together 2 nice wins recently. Okay, they beat the crap out of Iowa the other day, 82-65. Went to Purdue. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. 73-70 in that game. They beat the number 11 team in the country. They beat my favorite in the Big Ten, okay? Lost in overtime to Indiana. Lost by 2 to Wisconsin, 70-68. I remember that game. Lost by 2 right before that to the 15th team in the country, also a very good Big Ten team. Oregon, 73-71. They were able to put together a double overtime win against Minnesota before that, and they lost by 7 to Michigan State, also a top 25 team in the country before that. Okay? Beat up on Indiana State earlier. Beat Kentucky by 20 earlier in the year. This team has put together some pretty good wins. They handled Rutgers earlier in the year. They beat Texas for the first game of the season. Took an L to A&M. Lost in overtime to a good team in Pitt. This is a pretty decent team. They've taken some really heartbreaking losses. And in doing my research and figuring out how I want to go about this game, seems like everybody is riding on Penn State right now. And I don't get it. This isn't necessarily a who has better players, who's going to be out-coached and all that. I'm just looking at what I see. And what I've seen this season is that Ohio State is a pretty decent team. Ohio State has taken some very close losses, as we just discussed. But Ohio State's got some dogs. They got Thornton, who's averaging 17 points a game. Now, I think Ohio State's going to be pissed off in this game, understanding that they have a chance to improve their seeding in the Big Ten, understanding that this is the whiteout game for Penn State. Ohio State has a big-time opportunity to put themselves on the map, to put the country on notice. And everybody's rocking with Penn State in this one. The line, it's at -3.5 for Penn State. At home, whiteout game. But they're 3-7 in the conference. They struggle to win games. Ohio State coming off of the win against Purdue, and then not having a drop-off game. Usually in college basketball, when you see a team put together a top-tier win like that, They have a drop-off game in the next one. Nope, nope, nope. Came back home, welcomed Iowa, and dominated that game. Give me the underdogs in this one. OH, IO. I got Ohio State in this one.